4 minutes or less recipes, Alex and Felix. I'm Felix.
Alex right here.
So continuing our Around the World series, this is R for Russia, and we're doing a Prague cake. Now, you might say, hey, Prague is not in Russia, but apparently they learned a lot of baking there, and then they brought it back to Russia. So you go back, you look at history, there's some crossover there. So
yeah?
Apparently it's a Russian thing. We're not making it up despite the name.
I have a Russian friend. I could have asked him.
Well, here we are now.
Yeah, we're not really friends, I guess.
Well, hopefully he doesn't watch this then.
Yeah, I made it up.
Okay, so to start, by the way, all ingredient amounts, directions are down below. We don't make you go to the website, so follow along visually. So to start with, we had the cocoa powder. We put it in some water, put it in the bowl, add some other ingredients. We had eggs and some stuff. We're whipping them up now, and we're looking for this texture you're seeing here. We are now pouring in that water and cocoa powder mixture we saw before at the very beginning.
All right.
And then we're gonna mix that up. So right now we're just doing all the wet ingredients. Here we're gonna put in some vegetable oil, just a little bit at a time.
Why vegetable oil? Why not corn oil?
Good question. I don't know. Vegetable oil is very neutral in flavor. I imagine corn oil is too, however. I don't know. I'm not sure.
Okay.
Anyways, so we had some baking powder, soda, whatever we had there. Again, directions down below. We put in 1/3 of the flour, I think. I think we're doing the tri-pour today.
Oh, the famous tri-pour.
The famous tri-pour. So do 1/3, mix it up, scrape down the sides. Do 1/3, mix it up, scrape down the sides. In terms of how much flour we had, I don't think we had that much. I think we only had maybe 1.5 cups, so maybe we only did a double pour.
Oh, well.
But I don't know. Follow along. It'll look like this. So we're going to put that into a separate bowl. You will see why in a second as soon as I get it in the bowl, which I seem to be struggling with. We've been filming so many of these, and I can never figure out how to transfer it from that bowl into another bowl.
Oh, yeah?
It's a very awkward angle, because I want to stand where the camera is in order to show it off, so it's a bit of a problem. Anyways, here we had some egg whites, some sugar. We're going to whisk that up until we get to stiff peaks. So this is why we put the other ingredients in that separate bowl, because now we're going to mix this in 2 parts by doing the fold and scrape.
Yeah, I remember this.
So this is very similar to our Japanese cheesecake. It's similar to that Madagascar bundt cake we did a few weeks ago. So we're going to do 1/3, or a half, I should say. So this first half, it's more about getting it in. So I'm doing scrape and fold, but don't be afraid to, just whisk it around a little bit if you need to. It'll sort of look like that by the time you get the second amount in. This is the batter you'll end up with. So as long as yours looks like this and you try to keep as much volume, you're okay.
What is this supposed to look like? Is it very bubbly? Is it airy? Is it rich? Is it dense?
No, it's pretty airy. That's what all the egg whites are doing, right? So we want to keep all the air. So we baked it there, bake times down below. When they come out, let them cool on a wire rack, and then we're going to split both of them in half because we're going to do a filling. So there's a bunch of different fillings in this. Coming up in a second. Oh, here I am touching it, so you can see how spring it is.
You gotta make
very
sure
airy.
it's firm. Yeah. Okay.
So for the raspberry bit, we took some jam and some raspberries. We're gonna crush them up. I don't know why I'm doing it in that bowl, but I guess I didn't want to dirty another one. And we are going to spread that in a thin layer between the pieces of cake we cut, because we're going to put those back together and then do another layer in the middle of those two.
What is that?
So this is sweetened condensed milk, your favorite.
Yeah.
2 eggs in a saucepan. I believe that's just water. I don't think I did anything special there. Again, check down below. We're going to heat that up until, when you run the spatula down, it doesn't immediately collapse back on itself. We are going to mix in some chocolate until you get something that looks like that.
It looks really nice. It's got a nice... It's got a nice color to it.
Yep. So here is the butter. I'm going to cream this. I don't know why, because I put the hot mixture in and melted it anyway. So I don't really know what the point of this was. But cream the butter. This should be room temperature.
Okay.
So it doesn't melt the butter. But if you melt it, no big deal, because we're going to be adding powdered sugar in a second. So, beat those together and dump in some powdered sugar, which seems to be a lot. It's like a party at Charlie Sheen's house.
That's pretty crass.
Whisk it up, yeah. Whisk it up, it's going to look like this. Very smooth icing.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, you're going to get those ribbons. So remember how I said we're going to fold it back on itself? This is us doing that.
Okay.
Why I should put it together out of order like this, I'm not really sure. Maybe I could have put the jam later, but we do it in pieces. So here we're going to take one of the layers that has their top put back on. We're just going to put, a little bit of icing on it. We want a relatively thin layer because we don't want it, sliding around too much. This is more of a glue. So, it's sort of that thickness of icing. That's all you're really looking for. We're going to put the top back on.
Wow.
So yeah, it's quite a few layers in this thing.
This is a lot of layers.
Yeah, so now we're going to do the rest of the icing.
It's like an onion.
Yeah. Or an ogre. If anyone gets that. So we're going to do the rest of the icing now. Again, this is a long video. We just had a lot of stuff to do in this one.
Well, yeah.
I tried to keep it 4 minutes, so we'll call it 4 minutes. Usually 4 minutes, sometimes longer.
Depends how we feel that day.
Yeah, it depends what happens. Try to make that look as neat as possible. We're gonna do a jump cut in a second here. There we go.
It looked better before.
Yeah, you have to. It takes a couple stages. We have a good shot later on. I did some fun camera work. I moved it off to the side. So we're gonna have a side shot coming up in a second, I think. But yeah, the sides are tough. Just make a mess and then clean it up afterwards. Yeah, look at that shot. Pretty smooth. You're gonna end up looking like that. Yeah, it's a little slow, a little drawn out. So we're gonna cut a piece here.
Oh wow.
Yeah, look how.
Yeah. Now tell me something. How did this cake taste?
Good question. I thought it was good. If you ask my mother, it was horrible. We'll figure out what to do with that video later. Maybe we'll post it as a separate instance. Anyways, thanks for watching, guys. Hope you enjoyed it, and we will see you next week for S, which is Sweden.